and maybe we'll start a little bit after the three, two, one. Here's something I've discovered about real estate investors. One thing that you probably didn't know about yourself that I'm going to share with you if you are a real estate investor. Before we do, show of hands if you're actively seeking to buy real estate this year, actively looking to buy around a million this year. Show of hands if you want to buy a million this year. Awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause for showing up today. There are 48 of us right now on time before the event even started, before this training started. Here's what I know about real estate investors. Deep down inside, somewhere in your past has left a little residual mark inside you that says that you can be better than everybody else. I know this, and I know many of you you're humble and you care about people and you never want to be perceived as better than anybody. But here's how I know. Real estate investors end up with more net worth, more options, more income, and more status than everybody else on the planet. Show of hands if you know that to be true too. They end up financially free. They end up with legacy wealth. They end up with kids who have literally their futures paid for by the real estate. So what could cause something like that? Something deep inside you that says, I've got to do a little bit more. Now, how do we know this? Because the average person doesn't have real estate. The average person doesn't have passive income. The average person doesn't have the ability to go and do whatever they want, whenever they want, with whoever they want. Show of hands if that's true. Average can kind of suck. And so, in order for us to attain something that average people aren't able to attain, we must be thinking differently than average people are. Show of hands if that's true too. We're thinking a little bit differently. Excellent. Business owners, entrepreneurs, show of hands if you feel about the same. You're building something that's saleable. You're building something that cash flows. You're building something that helps people. That's something that the average person doesn't think about. Also, you're solving other people's problems that are not yours. Show of hands, entrepreneurs, if you didn't create the problem that you solve for other people. Just want to be sure. I want to make sure that you can go create the problem and then solve the problem, show up later on. These are problems that already existed in the world and you chose to solve them. True or true? Drop yes in the chat if you solve other people's problems and you didn't create the problem and you actually do it for a profit. If you do, that's one of the things that makes Alchemist Nation unique. We care about entrepreneurs, we care about business owners, we care about real estate investors, and we want to see you win. Unfortunately, a lot of the world hasn't quite held up to the right actions. Now, if you listen to Billy Reuter and you listen to any successful person on this call, they're going to tell you that habits are how success is created. And before we get started, I know that there are some new people on here. So, hey, new people, welcome. For those of you who have been on here before, alchemists, people who've been with us for 3 years, 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, welcome back, alchemists. This is the 52 Weeks to Wealth. We are doing today 2 wealth principles, Wealth Principle 40 and Wealth Principle 41. Wealth Principle 40 is create Keystone Habits. You may want to write this down because we're going to go at this very aggressively. The second principle, Wealth Principle 41, is create an environment that will force you to succeed. Create an environment that will force you to grow. Actually, is the correct word. It's grow. Succeed is relative, I guess, to what you're looking to do. Now, these two principles, they tie in very well because if we can create a valuable environment that forces our habits, we could actually never have to think about our success. We just wake up every day and be successful, doing successful things. True or true? Compound effect over time leads to success. Now I'm going to talk about the 3 keystone habits that are necessary for your success. The 3 keystone habits that every successful real estate investor and entrepreneur and business owner who has cash flow, has passive income, who has legacy wealth has in their lives. And if you just do these 3, your success is, well, I can't say guaranteed, but let's say virtually guaranteed. Show of hands if we can agree that habits lead to success. Excellent. The other thing I'm going to do is, because we're tying 2 together, I'm going to give you an action step that will allow you to take the habits, the 3 keystone habits, and tie them together to 3 things you can change about your environment that will force you to take those habits into reality. Show of hands if you're okay with being virtually forced to be successful. Excellent. Excellent. And just because there are new people on here, and I know many of you have been with us for 3, 4, 5 years, this is our 5th season of the 52 Weeks to Wealth. I want to remind those who are new and those who have been around for a little while why we're merging principles is simple. Wealth Principle 52 is at the summit this year. The summit is October 18th to the 20th, and that principle is one of my favorites. It is sharpen the saw. So for 3.5 days, we will be sharpening the saw together, networking, developing our business plan, improving our existing business plan if you already have one, which, by the way, if you have one, give yourselves a big round of applause. Very smart. And my guess is probably halfway through the year, your whole entire business shifted, adjusted, and now you need to go and revise the business plan to tackle the $1 million goals you've set for yourself. Show of hands, you'd like to make $1 million in 2025? Excellent. Excellent. Some of you are like, I want to make $1 million a month. Awesome. We can do that too. Let's focus on the tasks at hand. You got 77 days until the summit comes up. These 3 habits, you can implement them today. You can implement them this week. These are not habits that take a long time to install. They do say it takes 21 days for a habit to take root and to hold on to. But who here has spent the 21 days on building a habit and then the habit fell a fucking apart? Who here has had a habit just fall apart on you? You were crushing it. You were slaying. You built the 21 days. You're like, I'm in. I'm in a safe zone. And then 41 days later, you have an ankle injury and you haven't been to the gym in 3 months. or, or suddenly, you go, I just had my first son. So you have your first child. He turns 8 weeks old and you look and you're like, dude, I haven't been to yoga consistently 7 days a week in literally 8 weeks since he was born. And you have to get back on the treadmill, back in. By the way, yesterday I was in yoga. I did yoga yesterday. So I'll take a round of applause. Give me a round of applause, Melanie Santos, if you don't mind, if you could just throw one at me. Thank you. Appreciate it. Melanie Santos, the reason I pick on her is at Train the Trainer this year, she and all, I shouldn't tell you this. Okay, this is an internal secret between me and the members of the mastermind who showed up to train the trainer. But I'm going to tell you that we had to do something embarrassing. It was necessary because we're learning how to speak from stage. We're teaching each other how to get to that next level and how to get uncomfortable in front of a lot of people. So we had them entertain us. We had them pick a song that they were comfortable with and had to pull all their emotion out in that song and entertain us. What's interesting is that real estate investors and business owners are not usually karaoke people. We tend not to do the karaoke night. In fact, I had so much pushback on this exercise from every single person in the room. Like, are we seriously doing this? And I kept saying yes, because stage, selling, webinars, it's all energy. Show of hands, if you've been on a boring podcast or webinar or event and you just like, fuck this, checked out, went into the hallway. Like, when this speaker's done, I'm out. So your ability to speak is important. And your ability to bring energy to it is even more important, because language is only 7% of communication. The other 35%, or I can't remember what the percentages are, but 35% or a huge percent was tonality. It was energy. So if you're familiar with those stats, one of you knows it. I don't know what the stats are. I just know that tonality is really important. And so we did this exercise, and now the exercise was very specific. Their job was to go and pick a song and then entertain us. Melanie broke one of the rules. She did play a song, but instead of singing the song, she came out as Gualter Amarelo. And she literally did everything I do. There are things that I do that I didn't know I do, that I watched, and the whole time I was like, fuck, I do that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Michael, she did that. She's like, oh, I have 2 phones. You know why I have 2 phones? 2 phones makes you successful. You can't be a millionaire without 2 phones. Like, all sorts of silly stuff. She even had my Boston cap on. She had one of my Alchemist Station shirts on. She had my yoga pants on with like shorts over the top. And she's like, I don't even know why I wear shorts over my yoga pants. The reason, Melanie, is guys in the gym do not like other guys in the gym wearing just yoga pants. Show of hands, we agree. We vote no on men just wearing yoga pants in the gym. Not cool. Not cool. That's why I wear the shorts. And then the funniest part was towards the end, she was like, give me a round of applause. She didn't say give yourselves a round of applause. She's like, you can give me a round of applause. And I just did it. And I remembered, now I discovered why she did that. Let's give Melanie Sands a round of applause. Very, very, very wonderful rendition of Gualter. In fact, Melanie, at the summit, I have some talks that I feel like are going to be really high intensity at the summit. I feel like some people are not going to want to hear those words from me. So I'm wondering if maybe you could take those talks for me. I don't want to deal with the heat and the pressure I'm going to get. All right. So the habits that you want to build in your business, I don't know how that ties in at all. So thank you for bearing with the fact that we as entrepreneurs have to have some fun as we're developing and building our businesses. And some of our people who are trained to speak now are Coach Gio, Melanie Santos. We've got Gary Ager, although he was trained well before this training, spoke on many stages. In fact, that's probably the hardest thing, is coming and relearning how to speak from stage with energy, with intensity. He was already a great speaker, but a lot of times we have to relearn things differently because of the way we learned them originally. So if that's ever happened to you, you learned things on your own, you kind of figured it out, and then later on you had to come back and relearn and rewire your brain to do it in a way that's more effective. So as we're going through today's principle, we're going to talk about the 3 keystone habits that are going to help you become more successful in business. In fact, who here would like this to be very specific to increasing income this year? Anybody would like very specific to increasing income? All right. Is there anybody who'd like to be very specific about real estate investing, acquiring more assets, net worth, increasing net worth? Okay. All right. So we want both. Fortunately, these habits do both. So let's dive into them. The first one is making sure that every single day your thoughts are related to money. If you do not spend at least 30 minutes a day thinking about money and its improvement, you will not have money and its improvement. So let me walk through this. Money itself is energy, just like your body's made of energy, just like molecules and all of that, and light is all made of energy. And what we think about, we bring about, we manifest. Who's heard all this stuff? The Secret, the Science of Getting Rich, all of these wonderful philosophers. One of the things that money requires is action. And one of the things that leads to action is energy. And one of the things that leads to energy is thoughts. So let me reframe the manifestation process. Thoughts lead to feelings, feelings lead to action, action leads to results. So if we think about a growth in our income and a growth in our net worth, it could lead to energy, which would lead to actions, which would lead to results. Now, I'm not saying all the actions will be correct. Some of them will be wrong. Some action will be not good action, which would present results, which can be used as a feedback loop for you to have new thoughts, which would allow you to put new energy behind the action, which would create action, and then you get different results. Show of hands, we understand this feedback loop? Excellent. So number 1 habit is to make sure that you're thinking about money. Number 2 habit is to make sure that you're thinking about your energy. Write these down. Money and energy. Now, energy is created by many different things. You can create energy by spending time with your friends and family. Show of hands if you got people around you who you just like, you see them and you're just like light up. It's like, I want to go do things. I want better. So people can cause or create energy. You can eat healthy foods. Who here, you can also eat unhealthy foods that cause energy. Who here's had a Red Bull in their past, a coffee in their past? You get some things like vitamin Bs, right? It's just boom. And like, I don't know what tyrosine is, but whatever that is, that stuff gets you moving. It creates energy. So fuel, things you put in your body. We know that proteins over the long term can create more energy over the long term, but also carbs or sugars can create short bursts of energy, but then they can suck away energy later on. So the way we manage our energy has a couple of different factors to it. You have what you put into your body, the people you spend your time with, the thoughts you think about yourself, energy. Who here has thought about a past task that you won at? Let's visualize. Let's do it for a second. Let's just do it for 1 second. I want you to think of a time where you crushed it. You knew for sure you were the winner. You knew you won a thing and you said, yeah, that's me, winner. In fact, maybe you didn't dance out in person, but as you're thinking about it right now, you could do a victory dance, just visualizing how much of a winner you were in that moment. So as you're thinking about that win, that energy, that is a story. As Tony Robbins talks about this often. It's a story that you tell yourself. So your belief system around yourself can cause energy. Going back to past stories of success creates more energy for future success. Show of hands, we understand how that works. So the action step around energy is to think positively. Oh man, God, I already feel disgusted just using that word. I am so sorry because everybody says you got to think positive, be positive, and it doesn't work, does it? Show of hands if you tried being positive and it didn't work. It's not effective, right? So the habit would be think thoughts that are predetermined to create energy in you. Consume foods that are predetermined that you know for sure have in the past provided the energy needed for the moment. Also, activity breeds activity. Activity breeds energy. Who here's ever gone to the gym for an entire 2 weeks, gone to the gym for an entire 2 weeks, and felt like you had more energy after the 2 weeks than you did previously before you started? It's a weird phenomenon. You just went, used your body a whole bunch of times over 2 weeks of time, and somehow you're waking up earlier. Somehow you have more energy throughout the day. It's because the body requires being used. The more it's used, the more it has. The more use you put into it, the more use it can output. It's beautiful, the design that you have. And if you had more energy to make one more call, wouldn't you make a little more money? So fancy would, yeah. There's entire philosophies around the idea of one more, right? You're one funnel away. You're one contact away. Just one more push up, one more push, one more relationship, one more conversation, one more. Just don't do one more in snack time because that's how you put on more pounds. And unless, by the way, one of the beauties of you being a human being is that you do store fat. That's one of the beauty. That's how we survived. Because in a time of scarcity and no food, our bodies can go 40 days without food as long as you have sleep and drink and water, sleep and water. Which brings me to the end of energy. Make sure you sleep and have water in your system. If you are dehydrated, you'll be tired. There's no getting around it. The brain requires water, and the brain requires sleep, and the brain requires fuel. And for you to move positively, the brain requires a story of your success, which is why in our mastermind, I always ask for 3 wins. And then what is one thing I can hold you accountable to? Those 3 wins are proof that you're moving in the right direction. Show of hands if you've been in the mastermind and recognize that those 3 wins are fun as fuck. You spend all week thinking about them. You get to Monday night and you're like, oh shit, I haven't thought of my wins. You know what's coming. You got to write them down. You know what's coming. You know we're gonna ask. And as you're even thinking about your wins, who here feels a little charged? Just thinking about those 3 wins, writing them down. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm a pimp. I'm a real estate investor. I'm a successful business owner. Like you feel it when you're thinking about the story. So energy, number 2. Number 3 is the quality of the action you take will dictate the results you have. So research and development, research on the actions of the past. So going back and also researching the actions of other people. So in the past, I would say knowledge, network, and accountability. And I'm still going to say that. I still believe that your network can leverage you to any level ever. But if you research the right relationships and you research the right people and you research who you should be around and what you should say around them, that would take in knowledge, network, and accountability. Show of hands if we agree. So I had to bundle them all together in order to make sure that your environment is stronger. So what I would say in order to simplify all of these knowledge, network, accountability is you must have a clear direction of where you want to go in life. We talk about goals all the time. I think every entrepreneur, every book that you've ever read starts with a chapter on goals. True or true? So a keystone habit around success is you must absolutely, unequivocally believe in where you're going, but you also must write it down every single day and document the path, document the belief system that you're feeling. So step 1 was think about money. Step 2 was put the energy into your body. And step 3 is put it into reality, whether it's through writing, whether it's through communication with other people, getting yourself around the right environment, that right place, that right group, and then sending it. So the 2-part step here, sending it into the world, sending it into another person's mind. Gary talks about the word influence all the time as leadership, or we talk about influence in the form of marketing. We talk about influence in the form of sales. Why is influence so important? It comes up in business, sales, marketing, leadership. These are the 3, by the way, core key elements to building a great business is sales, marketing, and leadership. But if I could dial them all down to one, it is influence. And influence is created by writing it down and then putting it into the minds of other people. Sometimes you write it down visually. We're no longer in the age of just write things down. Now you could create a video blog and you could send it to 1,000 people. But if you send it to 10,000 people, would there be more impact? Show of hands, that'd be yes. So the habit of influence, the habit of taking time to write down where you want to go and then sharing that with other people. That habit of influencing people in sales and marketing or leadership in your business, in your relationships, in your conversations, the habit of spending time with people who can move in the same direction as you, the habit of surrounding yourself with people who you're capable of influencing. And when you influence them, the results you seek are better. Influence is complicated for me to explain. Influence is complicated to understand, but influence is the secret behind manifesting. Who here's heard manifesting, positive thinking, manifesting, all the stuff we're talking about today? These two habits, one habit of the Keystone Habits that we're talking about right now, we're about to shift into how to make it happen effortlessly, how to change your environment so that these things happen for you, from you, without you having to think about it. Show of hands if that's valuable. Excellent. Before we do, I want to make sure you wrote down influence for number 3. Influence other people, influence yourself, influence the world, influence your company, influence your customers, influence, 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 influence. Influence your social media, influence your children, influence your spouse, influence yourself, influence your body at the gym, influence your body when it's time to go to sleep. Influence, like I said, your customers, your business, your associates, your partners, your capital, your everything. Influence, influence, influence. Number 3. Now, the habit of influence is installable. It starts with your first step in the morning where you write down your goals. Everybody wrote that down? We write down our goals? Excellent. Moving forward, there's one thing you can do, such by doing it, everything else is easier or unnecessary. Who here believes that? There's always a leverage, there's a high leverage. The highest leverage of all is your environment. Anybody who's told you in the past, you just got to be stronger, you got to have more willpower, you got to be tougher, you got to be more disciplined, has never tried changing environment. In fact, if they're already successful, they've already changed their environment to force them to be successful. And here's an example. Does anybody have an alarm clock on their cell phone? Anybody got one of those? Alarm clock on the cell phone? And then when it goes off, what do? Turn it off, right? Just flick. But it gives you a clue. It gives you a clue it's time to wake up. Has anybody gotten up from the alarm clock, 30 minutes later? Anybody had that happen? That's environment, right? The alarm clock did wake you up eventually. It may not have woken you up immediately, but it did get you up eventually. So the alarm clock is a positive influence on your environment because it's made you early or on time or close to on time to things, to activities and tasks. True or true? Who here would associate their alarm clock with their success? Show of hands if you would associate the fact that you got up on time with some sort of positive impact in your life. That is an environmental factor. When you set your alarm is dictated by who? Drop in the chat. Who dictates when that alarm is set? It's not a trick question. Just drop it in the chat. I want to know. Some of you may have a shocking answer for me. Who dictates when that alarm clock is set in your life? Oh, interesting. Wow, I'm seeing a consensus in the chat. There's a lot of people typing in this 2-letter word, me, and then I do. Interesting. Me or my husband. There we go. There's some honesty. Your future self. I love that, Brody. It really is your past self actually inputting the alarm information, and then it's your future self who will see the result, who will actually experience the result. My goals, Courtney. Yes, now we're having a conversation. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. And I can prove this to you. If you've ever had an experience where you said, I am not going to eat, insert food that you don't want to eat because it's bad for you, but you love eating it because it's tasty. Show of hands, you know exactly which one. Totally bad for you, tasty as hell. And when it's in the house and it has an expiration date on it, it will go bad. It has to be a food that will go bad. Expiration date on it. It's in your house. Show of hands if you don't feel a little tingle to go eat that thing to make sure that it doesn't go bad. Who here has a rule in your head? You don't let good food go bad, right? Show of hands. Familiar with this? So we set a goal. I'm not going to eat this. I'm healthy this week. And yet the food was in the fridge or the food was there. It could go bad. It's going bad. It's got to. Show of hands if you take a bite. Show of hands if you have in the past eaten it just because you can't let it go bad. We got a moral conflict here. We know that our environment is fucking us. we've been screwed over by our environment. And so we know that it is more powerful than our willpower. But who here did fight hard? Anybody fight hard for a little while before they finally broke down? You felt the fight, right? That was your willpower being chipped away at. Your willpower being chipped away at by all sorts of other belief systems, by your environment itself. And so, even though we know, even though we know that we can improve our mindset and we can improve our strength of mind, we can improve our willpower, isn't it easier just to do what our body would naturally do if, with the one caveat, that everything it did was perfectly in alignment with our goals? Wouldn't that be so much easier, so much better? So one of the things we can do is just remove the food that we don't want to eat from our house. We know if we got it, the whole top shelf, right? Dorina has this trick where she takes it and puts it on the top shelf. Works for her, does not work for me. I can reach the top shelf. So, so we have a new solution. We throw it out. We do not buy it. We don't put the stuff in the house because the things that stop her don't stop me. And my goals for the summit, I want to be able to walk on stage in like TED Talk t-shirt, right? I want the biceps showing, I want the abs showing, or at least I don't want the one ab, the one belly showing through the shirt, the suit. So I'm doing my best to get out of the Larry Steinhaus suit and into the Gualter. I know, brother. These are important to me. And so I'm going to change my environment to be more beneficial. Show fans, you like to now go through an exercise. We're going to change our environments, your environment, so it can be more beneficial, so we can hit the 3 things that you want every day. Excellent. Here's what I'm going to do. By the way, before I shift into this activity, Dorina asked me to talk about the summit really quickly. If you have not gotten your VIP tickets, now is the time to get VIP. VIP, we're talking about leadership, sales, and marketing, but we're focused on scale. The day one before the summit, the 17th, before everybody else gets there, we are focused on scale, leadership and scale, how to hire better salespeople, how to put better people in place, how to build leaders so we can scale up our companies. If you're making $100,000, how to get to that $1 million. If you're making $1 million, how to get to the $5 million. I can't teach you things I haven't done, but I can show what I have done. And so I'll be bringing in leaders like Gary, like Vinney. We're going to be talking about leadership throughout that whole entire day. And then at night, we've got the VIP networking. So VIPs, now's the time to get your tickets before they run out. They are running out. And then for each of you who hasn't bought your tickets to the summit yet, we have 89 people registered already, which means we're moving much faster than we were this year, this time last year. So we're probably going to have about 400 people inside the summit. There's only 40 VIP slots, and those are selling out quickly. The other spot, the executive tickets are already sold out. So I apologize. Executives are sold out. So let's give all of our executives a big round of applause. Those are anybody who is a leader to our events, and a few of our mastermind members bought the exec before it's sold out. So by the way, the executives and the VIPs are the people who pay for the entire summit. So let's give them one big round of applause. One more big round of applause. I appreciate your timely purchase to help us get to the summit and expend the tons of dollars that Dorina thinks are necessary to give you a wonderful experience. The reason I bring this up is because VIPs only will be taking a picture with the $1 million this year. In the past, I would bring it out on stage, and I was told this year that felt tacky. So I will not be bringing the $1 million on stage this year. It will only be for the VIPs in the back room with the VIPs on VIP day. And then if you don't take your pictures on VIP day, you are missing out on a picture with $1 million. If you want to manifest $1 million, my thought is you surround yourself with a picture of $1 million and say, hey, family, look, this is what it would look like. This is how crazy it is. In fact, Michael Gabriel's kids have a picture of them with the $1 million. So let's give Michael Gabriel and his 2 boys a big round of applause for being there at the moment in the summit when I was doing it. Love that they have that picture, and it's super cool to see that on out there in the world. Now, the 3 habits, if we just did them, if our willpower, if our determination to think about money for at least 30 minutes every single day, if our willpower to eat the right things, to sleep enough, to drink the right water, to go and exercise enough was just like happening, we'd be rich and healthy, and we'd have all the energy. And if we were just focused on influencing the right people the right way at the right time, we had that skill, and that's all we did all day. If all we did was influence other people all day, we'd be rich as fuck. True or true? If all you did was get in front of people who had money, influenced to buy from you, had work time, influence them to work for you, and just you influence and influence and influence, you would be an unstoppable compound effect of influence in your life. True or true? And influence brings money. It brings talent. It brings access to new things, resources. So that's clearly not happening. So in order to get you to that, Let's create a habit. There's one habit that is more powerful, one environmental change that is more powerful than any other that has worked for me and the people that I know. And that is to get around a community of people who are actively doing the thing that I want to do. Sometimes you pay for it. Sometimes you build it yourself. Sometimes you force people to jump on calls. I know Carla Pollitt is running her team, and she like forces them to get on calls, like tells them, "Hey, we're doing this, we're doing that." I know Gary and Ron and Dorina, they force me to show up to events and do things. Not force. They just encourage that I go and I do certain activities and certain videos and that I don't give up certain things. They're like, you still have to go do this. Podcast is coming back. I'll be interviewing people who have built other people's financial freedom. So people are building millionaires, people are helping people get to the next level. So a lot of coaches will be interviewing on the Alchemist Nation podcast this year. So that's coming back. The habit of surrounding yourself with champions is crucial to your success. It's absolutely crucial. But surrounding yourself with them, like we're doing here, is not enough. You have to have some sort of accountability with them. There has to be some sort of agreed upon schedule. In fact, Richie Decker asked me this week, he's like, bro, like, how do you stay motivated? Like, how do you like on days where you don't feel like you're a champion, on days where, you didn't, because Richie set a goal to make $1,000 every single day. Rich, is it okay if I share?
Yeah, please.
Awesome. So Richie set a goal to make $1,000 every single day. And he's done it now, multiple days in a row. Richie, how many days in a row have you made the $1,000 every single day?
I did it for 2 hours, 100 short last night, so I'm still working on the weekend.
All right, the weekend's still going strong though. So you did it 2 days in a row, and one of those days you were over, right? You had like 1,600 instead of just 1,000.
14.
1,400. So you got a little over, and you're continuing through. Okay. So you set the goal for $1,000 every day, and so far he's hit it, and he's not done yet with yesterday. So he's still working on the weekend. Imagine, imagine if each of you set a goal to make $1,000 a day. Would it not stretch you? Would it not change you? Would you not have to think about things differently? What I told Richie when, or I don't know if I told him this, but Richie, what I've thought about afterwards, after you and I jumped off, is the reason I get on and am moving powerfully in the direction that I want to move is I am obsessed with influence. And every day before I wake up, my calendar is jammed. Every day I have at 10 o'clock, no matter what day it is, a call scheduled, regardless. Every day of the week, no matter what, there is a call scheduled at 10 o'clock. And that forces me, because I say from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock, jam the calendar, slam the calendar, put things on the calendar that matter. Dorina's job is to make sure that things on the calendar move us forward. And her job is to also, if I put things on the calendar that won't move us forward, to delete them and communicate with that person and say, hey, sorry, that's not the direction we're going in. By the way, let's give Dorina a big round of applause for doing that for me. The calendar is my source of motivation. The calendar is my source of direction. The calendar is my source of money, influence. If I'm constantly booking on the calendar, if that one habit, one environment, the one space I look at, and Dorina will ask me in the morning, she'll say, what are you doing today? And I will tell her, Dorina, how many times do I tell you? I don't fucking know. I haven't looked at my phone yet because I know until 10, I'm free. I have nothing to do until 10 o'clock. But around 9:30, I'll open my phone, I'll look at my day, and I'll prepare mentally for whatever task I've got to go at. And I know I have confidence that previously, throughout the earlier part of the week, I built that calendar to be effective and powerful. I know that whoever I was speaking to was the right person to be on there. I know because I have not just me, I have Gary, I have Ron, I have Dorina, all have access to my calendar and will text me and say, what the fuck is this? Why is this on there? Is this appropriate for you? That doesn't make sense. Or, hey, do you want me in on that call? Should I help you? And how did that call go? Is there anything I can do to support that movement, that initiative? Show of hands if you've been on a call with me. Show of hands if you've been on a one-on-one with me. Then you are an asset in my life. You are the right person for me to communicate at the time that I communicated. You are proven, validated by 3 other people. Show of hands if that's pretty cool. If you've been on a call with me, it's because I or one of my team has said that is the call you need to be on. That is appropriate. That is the right move. That's where influence needs to be happening right now, in this moment, in our company, in our goals, in our mission, in this community where we're going. You need to be there. Your most powerful asset is right there in your phone. This is an extension of yourself now. There's no denying it, right? If you lost this, show of hands if you'd have it within 24 hours. It could have fallen off the Empire State Building, crashed into thousands of little pieces, And within 24 hours, you would have a new phone. You could be in a new country and you'd still go get a phone. You'd not be able to speak the language and you'd be like, I'm getting a phone today. So we know the phone is integral. It's a part of you. It is a lot of your environment. The math says we spend more than 3 hours a day in the feed, right? In the feed, not any specific feed, just in this screen, in this little screen. Show of hands if you believe that that's true. That is an honest stat. Most of us make our money from the phone. Show of hands if that's true for you too. Most of us make our money. All right. Real estate investors, right? We make our money from the phone. That calendar app, if you're not using it yet, is the big change for your environment. If you are using the calendar and you're not as successful as you'd like to be, you have the wrong things on your calendar. That is your environmental change. My suggestion is you put more people, better people on your calendar based on the money thoughts you had and the energy pattern you put together, the energy plan you put together, and you influence those people powerfully. Every time you get on the phone, by the way, this is Sales 101. This is something we teach at the summit, and we're going to talk about it more throughout the year as we're increasing people's sales. The person with the highest energy in the room is the person who wins the sale.
Walter, can I say something real quick?
Save it to the end, Richie. We're almost there. But yes, give Richie Deck a round of applause for having something to say. We're going to get to the Q&A in just a little bit. The person with the highest energy, write this down. The person with the highest energy wins the sale. The person who's thinking about money gets money. The person who's influencing other people manifests. So imagine if you follow these 3 steps. By the way, these 3 steps, these are just the key principles to becoming wealthy. These are not the key principles to becoming super healthy. These are not the key principles to being an Olympian. These are not the key principles to go and get your name up on a building like Donald Trump. These are the key principles to getting you to your financial goals. So fans, we understand. Keystone habits to get you to your financial goals. The first is think about money every day. Minimum of 30 minutes. First, think about money every day. Minimum of 30 minutes. The second one is you must get your energy right. That's sleep, eat, drink, exercise, tell a story about yourself, positive story about yourself. And that third one is you got to influence more people. Influence, influence, influence. The reason you're not as rich as you want, my guess, because I know most of you are thinking about money every day. Show fans, you're thinking about money every day. You're thinking about it. So fans, you believe in yourself. You got the positive thoughts. You got the energy. You're eating right. You're healthy. You're doing things. I know that obscurity is your enemy. I know the reason you're not as rich as you want to be is because not enough of the right people know you. I know that's the reason. I know that if the right people knew you, you'd be making money. If you were having the right conversation with the right people, your life would be very different. And so for the next 77 days, and then at the summit, we're going to talk only about killing that enemy, obscurity, about slaying that demon, about being known, about getting yourself in front of the right people and having the right conversation. Because if we don't do that, none of the other work that we do throughout the year matters. Show of hands if we understand that to be true. Influence, your ability to influence yourself and those around you with the right thoughts is what's going to create the life that you want. So, tactical steps. I want you this week, there's only one action step. I want you this week to go look at your calendar. And I want you to do this every day from now on. Every Sunday, I want you to look at your calendar. And I want you to get really comfortable with this. I want you to delete some shit. And I want you to add some shit. When I say delete some shit, I mean get rid of things that will not pay you. Get rid of hour-long conversations that have not paid you to be on that hour-long conversation. Get rid of time blocks to do nothing unless that nothing is a nap, in which case I approve naps on the calendar because I wake up at 5 and I go to bed at 10. And the only way I can do that is I work in the morning and I take a nap around 2 to 4, and then I work again in the afternoon. I work all day. I work. If I'm awake, I'm working, right? If I'm not working, I'm thinking about work. I may be with my family, but I'll tell you what, me and Emerson are talking about business. If I'm with Dorina, I'm thinking about how do we get our energy right so I can do better business. And if I'm sleeping, man, I'm dreaming about work, right? I'm dreaming about developing. I'm dreaming about moving the company to another level because I've made my life positive in the workspace, right? Everything I do is moving me and my family towards a better space. So work is okay in my mind. Wonderful habit. Get your calendar right. There are people right now. Oh my God, there are people right here on this call that you need to be on a call with. I can guarantee you. I know there are. I know that there are people who could change your level of influence on this call right now. There are people who can train you on how to find the right people. There are people who can put you in front of the right people once you know what they are. There are people who can train you on what to say to those people once you get in front of those people so that you can connect more people, more money into your bank account. That's, I mean, that's the whole goal, right? The whole goal is financial freedom. Do whatever you want with whoever you want. And this is the key. This simple conversation with another human being saying, "Hey, I'll do this for you. You give me that." Is a secret. And you can't get this when people don't have access to it, right? How the medical field figure that out? Insurance companies. You got a lot of broke people in there. Again, I just had $100,000 baby. Cost me 6 grand. Let's give Doreen a round of applause. She figured the insurance game out real quick. She's like, how's this? How much is this gonna cost? Insurance, thank you. Right. So there's a lot of people who are finding access to capital. Buying houses, dude. I bought my first house with $8,000 down. $170,000 house. I borrowed the money, other people's money, right? Access to capital is a secret to success in life. So, influence, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do a book of the week. In fact, it's 2 books. So, every week we do a book of the week. Michael Shine is out picking his kids up from camp. So, Mitch Jorsky is the person I plan on having do this book of the week. We're going to do 2 books. One of them is The Miracle Morning, and one of them is Habits, The Power of Habits. So, Mitch, if you can hit me with The Miracle Morning, and then who has read The Power of Habit? Show of hands. Really? Michael Gabriel, you want this one? No? All right. So, Mitch Jorsky, give me The Miracle Morning, and then Michael Gabriel, you're going to give me The Power of Habit. Let's give Mitch Jorsky, the Scared to Get Guide to Real Estate Investing, a big round of applause. Let's do this. Book of
Oh
the
my
week.
goodness. I'm sorry. I can't even stop laughing that you're asking me to do Miracle Morning. I mean, obviously I can, but I think we all know the running joke is that I'm going to write the book called Miracle Midnight because I tend to be more like Tim Ferriss and do my best work at midnight as opposed to 5 a.m. So I guess in a lot of ways it's the same because you get that quiet silence, so to speak. And there's something to be said for that, right? It's like the still of the day where it's still quiet. There's no buzz going on. You essentially have peace to get things, going. Um, so I, in theory, definitely know about the Miracle Morning, but in practice, not so much. Do it. I mean, I am Polish partly, so I'm doing it backwards. I don't know. But anyway, so Miracle Morning. I mean, I'm sure everyone's heard about this book. If you haven't heard about this book, you've clearly been hiding under some rock somewhere. Um, and the short version is basically like anything else, it's essentially building habits, right? So whether, the next book or even Atomic Habits, like all these books, a lot of them is about building habits. And some of them just have radical ways of going about it. And I think that's what Miracle Morning does. It is kind of like almost like a 75 hard challenge where it's just like, all right, you're going to get your ass up at 5 a.m. every day and you're going to essentially do X, Y, and Z. So it's similar to that. And it's got the list of things you're going to do every single morning. And really, at the end of the day, it's about forcing you to create that routine, forcing you to accomplish things, and almost like, putting accountability on yourself. And again, there's many books like this. Miracle Morning is a very, very popular one. If you are a morning person, then this is the book for you. If you're not a morning person, you might not agree with it, but the principles you'll agree with, which is the whole point of what I'm saying here. So, yeah, if you haven't read it, give it a read, because it is a powerful book, and that is one of the reasons it's become so popular.
So this is Mitch Jorsky's least favorite book in the 52 Weeks of Wealth, but it's Michael Shine's favorite book. Michael loves this book, and he does this one with so much passion. And let me tell you, I'm like Mitch, or at least I was like Mitch, until about 2 years ago when I started the year of leg day. When I started the year of leg day, I shifted to waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, being in the gym at 6 o'clock, meditating for an hour, getting in the gym at 6, and not hitting my day. I don't start my day until 10 o'clock. I don't start my business day until 10. So I'm up 5 hours before my business day starts. In the past, I would do that at midnight. So I'd start at 10 o'clock at night and I wouldn't go to bed until at about 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'd spend my 4 hours at night prepping for the day, getting my mind right, writing down all the things I was going to do the next day. I just happened to reverse it because year of leg day takes a lot of work and I couldn't seem to pull it off at night. So I had to shift to doing it in the morning. Here are the things that Mike always likes to teach when he does this book. Savers. Savers is the habit that Mike follows. Savers is the habit that Vinney follows. And it starts with the S, which stands for silence. The A stands for affirmations. The V stands for visualization. The E stands for exercise. The R stands for reading. And the S stands for scribing or writing things down. Or in my terms, influence, writing it down so you can go influence the world, getting other people out there. So the other book of the week is brought to you by the guy who does all of my traffic. And Mike, at the end of this, I am going to ask for a marketing tip from you. And Mitch, I am going to ask for a quote, a success quote from you. Michael, what is your experience with the power of habit?
All right, so I read that book probably a year ago. And from what I remember, that book was about creating habits that help you like almost unconsciously do do the things that you're supposed to do. So in that book, he talks about a football coach that practiced one play. That's all they did was practice one play. And that play, when they executed it, even though the other team knew about that play, they executed it so well because they were so used to practicing this one thing that it was automatic. And I think I also, as I relate this to Richie, what you try to do with $1,000 a day, I also tried to do that. And what happened was in the morning, I started creating this habit of thinking like, okay, what do I got to do to make this money today? Which put me in a different mindset. Then I was like, okay, is it making more phone calls? Like, oh, I was almost willing to do whatever it took. I told my kids like, hey, if we got to go outside and go cut everybody's lawn to make $1,000 today, that's what we're going to do. But what it did is allow me to start thinking outside of what, okay, I'm going to get up, I'm going to check my email, I'm going to respond to text messages. Now I get up and I say, okay, let's put everything to the side. Is like, how do I make this money today? So when I think about that book, it's really about, doing something so much that it becomes unconscious. And now it's this habit that is meant for you to be successful. And it can go the other way too. So you just got to be careful.
Give Michael Gabriel a round of applause. He might not be the keeper of the books or a holistic attorney, but man, he nailed it. He is my traffic guy. Awesome, awesome job, Michael. And thank you, Mitch. So we do this every single week, these books, because and I'm a huge avid reader. Obviously, all the books behind me are books I've read, and that whole book of shame on the other side, the shelf that I don't show off, are the books I haven't read yet, which is starting to stack up quite a bit. The reason we read so much, and the reason I only share these 52 is because a lot of the books say the same exact things. But some of these books do a very, very good job at clearing things up. The reason I chose that book very specifically is because it has a story about Target identifying that a person would be pregnant before anybody else knew. Before anybody else knew, before the parents knew that their daughter was going to be pregnant. They were already sending things to the house saying, hey, here's some pregnancy stuff, here's some prep stuff. And the reason that Target knew this is because people have buying habits. And if you can understand the habits of your customer, the habits of your avatar, you can get ahead of them and start servicing them in the way that they want to be serviced. You can start handling their life in the way they want it to be handled, and you can charge significantly more. And even better, you get the customer because you showed up before the competition showed up. If you can understand where they're going and be better than your competition, get there earlier, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. I made a post this morning. I pissed a lot of people off with this post. So odd that this post is bothering people. I said, you should only have friends that either send you business or send you money, right? Pay you or do business with you. If your friends don't pay you, and if your friends don't send you business, they're just people you know. And that's a true philosophy. And there was a guy in there who was like, man, like that's not how business should be. I don't want to be in any other business. I only work with my friends. I only do business with my friends. You know what the definition of a friend is? Someone you know, like, and trust. That is the definition of a friend. It's somebody you love. It's somebody you want to spend a lot of time with. So if we were to build better businesses, build a habit around building a better business, it would be doing business with our friends. And I've chosen my partners, I've chosen the people I do business with because I like them. Genuinely, because a lot of people are capable. By the way, show fans, the world full of capable people, 8 billion people on the planet. There are people smarter and better. There's probably even smarter, better people than the people I have on my team. But you know what? I love my team. I believe that my team is becoming the hardest workers in the room. I believe they're becoming the most talented, specialized people to get our goal to where we want to be. I've told my team, I don't think I'm the right person to do this. And yet they believe in me and they ask me to continue in the role that I'm doing. So we like each other enough to stay in business with each other. Show of hands if that makes sense. And if I've been on a call with you, it's because either I was getting to know you, I was getting to like you more, or I was getting to trust you more. And if I continue to get on calls with you, it's because I believe that there's an opportunity for me to know, like, and trust you at a deeper level. And if I invite you to something, it's because I believe there's a chance for you and me to know, like, and trust each other at a deeper level so we can go out and help more people together. There is something we're doing that I used to do, and I'm only going to do it this one time. Then after this, it'll only be ever taught by other people. This week, we start the Recession Proof Challenge again for the last time for me. Show of hands, have you ever been on the RPC before, Recession Proof Challenge? In it, well, those of you who know, you know, and those of you who don't know, you're about to find out. In it, we talk about the three main things that take a person to stratospheric success. We force you, by the way, it is an environment of willpower won't get you here through this one. You got to show up. It's environment. It's going to be in your calendar. For 21 days straight, we get on a call every day at 1 o'clock. For 15 minutes, I share the tactic of the day. You go and you implement the tactic of the day. And then for the next 20, 30 minutes, I'll stay on the call and we break down any questions about how to deliver the tactic, about the previous exercise. And we just go day after day after day. After 21 days, you'll have contacted 210 people. Show of hands if that would be a change in your business already. If after 21 days you contact 210 people, absolutely. On day one, we're going to make sure that the right people. We're going to build a list on day one. Day one's activity is build the list, the avatar. Day two is prepare our offer to make sure it's the correct offer for the avatar. Day three is improve the conversation, improve the message. Oh, yeah, Gary just told me, sorry, I can only invite our coaches. Yep. Looks like only the coaches who are going to be working with us going forward, who I've already had a conversation with, or Gary had a conversation with, are available to jump into the RPC. Here's why. I will not be teaching this after this one. This is my final time teaching the Recession Proof Challenge, and I'm teaching our coaches to be able to teach this going forward at the local level because the groups were getting too big. We're having 40, 80 people inside the RPC. I couldn't do the one-on-one conversation that we used to do. And so we're going to ask our coaches at the local level to teach people how to increase their income in a 21-day period. Show of hands if you talk to 210 people over 21 days, you'd make more money. Excellent. Let's give all of our coaches a big round of applause. They're about to go through boot camp. They're about to call. They're about to learn it themselves, and they're going to be able to teach it going forward. So in September, your local coaches will actually be able to teach the Recession Proof Challenge. And in September, we'll make it open and available to all of the community. So one more time, let's give all of our coaches a big round of applause. They're about to go through boot camp. They're about to go through the Recession Proof Challenge. Oh, Gary says they can sign up with them for their version of the RPC. Yeah, so you can't sign up for the RPC yet, but in September, you'll be able to sign up with our local coaches, with your local leader, and you'll be able to sign up with them and go through the RPC together as a tribe, as a local tribe in your local market. And that's one of the benefits of the RPC is it shows you how to get customers where you live, customers who are local to you, customers who can actually show up in person and pay you more. Because if they meet you in person, they always spend more. My virtual customers always spend less than my in-person customers. Show of hands if you understand why. Influence is tighter in person. There's more influence, there's more opportunity, there's more relationship there. So more often, and I used to say this in sales when I was out in the real estate space every day as a sales agent, dude, they'd be like, well, give me a price over the phone. I'm like, I got to see the property. I don't got to see the property. I got to see you. You got to see me. We got to get belly to belly. We got to have a conversation because contacts equal contracts, right? The more is sales is contact sport. I got to get in person with you, right? We got to high five each other, right? I got to make that eye contact. I got to compliment the paper, the wallpaper on the house. Like I gotta see the things. I gotta see your pictures of your kids. I gotta find out what's important to you, and you gotta see that I like you, right? Because if they don't see that I like, if they don't see that in-person conversation, they're not gonna close with me. So fans, you understand, you got to get them in person, right? Sales is a contact sport. It's not about separation. It's not about the internet. It's about getting that person face to face. They'll spend 10 times as much with you in person than ever could virtually. That being said, the summit is coming up. Get your tickets now. We're going to be in person together. I might sell a thing. I might show you how to believe in yourself. I might sell you on the $1 million plan. I might sell you on making $1 million this year. Who here would love to be sold on a plan that makes you $1 million? Practically force you to do it? Oh yeah, give yourselves a round of applause. All right. We're going to go and shift into a very quick mindset scenario. This is affirmations that I put together earlier, and I've done this over and over the years. But these specific ones seem to have the most impact for our community. So as I get prepped, you can take a deep breath in. If you are driving, please stay driving, stay focused. The reason we do affirmations is similar to the books. They work. When we think positive thoughts, we change our stories and we improve our stories, we tend to have more results. We tend to have more success. And so we're going to shift our brain just for a moment to internalize everything we just took in today. Remember, it's simple. I want to lock it all into your brain. So this is something called accelerated learning, where we use guided meditation to lock things that we just took in knowledge-wise. We took it in logically. Now we're going to take it in emotionally. So take a deep breath in and exhale. As we exhale, remove anything that isn't empowering towards your success, anything that isn't moving you towards the direction you want to be in. And let's, as we breathe in, increase our energy and our positive feeling towards our success. Since we talked about money today, we're going to feel good thoughts around money. These thoughts may be money comes easily and freely. Money comes to me from many streams. Money comes to me from many different sources, that I have always helped people doing a thing that people are thankful to pay me. People enjoy paying me. I love receiving the money. It always comes from good sources, good people, good resources. And as we're going deeper into this guided meditation, you don't have to close your eyes, but if it makes it easier for you, you can. Welcome to this next step. I want you to find a comfortable position, sit or lie down in a place where you feel comfortable and undisturbed. If it's comfortable to you, close your eyes gently and take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it for a moment, and then slowly exhale through your mouth. Let each breath take you a little deeper and a little more relaxed. Visualize yourself each day waking up fully prepared to take on your most important tasks. Imagine a morning routine that sets a positive tone for the day. See yourself engaging in the 3 Keystone Habits. These are small, consistent actions that lead to success in significant ways. Imagine every day you wake up thinking positively about money, and you spend 30 minutes asking yourself the question, how do I hit my financial target today? What can I do today to reach my financial target? Take another deep breath in and exhale. Part of our morning routine is to do something good for our body, exercise, drink some water. Part of our night routine is to go to sleep a little earlier, maybe wake up a little earlier. Part of our night routine is a state of gratitude, because what we think about at night persists throughout the night, and we wake up with those feelings. So our night routine includes drinking some water. It includes thinking some positive thoughts, gratitude, and it includes putting ourselves into a state of deep relaxation and preparedness for the morning. The morning routine includes thoughts of money, positive thoughts of money, asking yourself the question, how can I make my financial targets happen today? What can I do today to reach my financial target, my financial goal? And we write these down. Take the 20, 30 minutes every morning. Think of it as a fun activity. Noticing now that it is fun to think about the money and what you'll do with it. Allocating money that hasn't yet arrived is part of the process. Setting financial goals in the morning, asking yourself, how can I do it? And at night, being grateful and thankful for the opportunity. Making sure you exercise somewhere throughout the day. Some sort of exercise, by the way, anything counts. In the beginning, if you haven't exercised in years, one push-up could do it. One sit-up could be the sit-up. It could be the sit-up that gets you out of bed if you think about it that way. If you put the intention behind it, maybe you do too. Maybe you do a squat. You adjust. Maybe one day you say, I'm going to do the Euro leg day like Walter's doing. I'm doing what Mike Shine does, 100 push-ups every day. Maybe after a year, you jump up like Mike did and make it 200 push-ups every day. Something. A little routine every day. Then the third habit, influence. Imagine throughout the day, at whatever time you set for your day to start, your only focus is who and what we're going to talk about. Who will move me towards my financial goals, and what do we need to talk about for us to move each other forward? Because you are an advancing person. You always advance those who come in contact with you. Are you advancing people who have money, or are you advancing people who have time? Because there are only ever two assets that you are ever seeking in this world: people who have time and effort that they can put behind your mission, your purpose, your career, your investments, or people who have money that they can put behind your projects, your deals, your career, your mission, your efforts. Time and money are the only equation you're ever seeking when you're on a conversation with a person. The opportunity to serve a person is simply the exchange of time or money. So you're always looking for the exchange of time or money in your calls. This is influence. Your energy is always the highest in the room. If you notice a person's energy being higher than yours on a call, whether they're frustrated, whether they're sad, or whether they're angry with you, or they're just more exuberant than you. Remember, energy has all forms that it shows up as, different ways of coming out, but its level is what we're charged at here. It's what we're measuring. The person with the highest energy wins in all sales. So when you're influencing others, your energy must be highest. You don't have to be eloquent. You don't have to be the best speaker. But if your energy is the highest, you'll stay on that call until you've won the sale. Visualize yourself as a very influential human being who cares about the people they work with, because if you don't care, you won't have influence. People don't care how much you know until they find out how much you care. Let's take one more deep breath in. Picture yourself, picture yourself waking up early with a sense of purpose, engaging in a brief exercise or meditation that energizes you, and reviewing your goals and priorities for the day, the conversations you will have throughout the day, throughout the week. Now envision your surroundings transforming into a space that encourages growth and productivity. Imagine your calendar filled up with inspiring projects, inspiring conversations, filling your world with successful conversations, successful people, improving your environment, changing your workspace, maybe your cell phone, inspiring you with vision boards, motivational quotes, and tools and resources for your success. Visualize a workspace that is organized and clutter-free, allowing you to focus without distractions, surrounding yourself with positive, like-minded individuals who support and challenge you, having your access to resources and learning materials that drive your personal and professional development. Feel the energy of this environment fueling you in ambitious growth, fueling inside you, increasing the intensity of your success. It supports you in taking bold steps and embracing new opportunities. With these principles in mind, think about your upcoming participation in activities, upcoming participation in events and networks. Picture yourself in any space, any room, any event, fully immersed in learning and networking. Envision the connections you'll make and the knowledge you'll gain. Remember to secure your opportunities as soon as possible. When there's an opportunity closing, take quick action. Jump in. The worst thing that could happen is regret at the end of your life. But knowing for certain that you took the right actions and the moment the action was available brings confidence, brings strength of future action. Take another deep breath in, holding the vision of your keystone habits and growth-oriented environment. Exhale slowly, feeling more aligned with your goals and prepared for the things ahead. When you're ready, gently open your eyes, carrying this sense of clarity and purpose with you. You can turn your cameras back on. You can unmute the microphones. We're going to do what I love the most, the Q&A. We'll jump into a nice Q&A session. We're going to share some things. If something came up for you, by the way, this is the best time to write it down. This is the time to write down any thoughts, any ideas, any feelings or belief systems around your keystone habits, the things that move you forward the most, because the subconscious mind likes to remove those immediately. It'll tell you, it'll remember it, but then if it's going to change your life, the subconscious mind will just store it away somewhere into this ambiguous place. So Write down what you want to influence yourself with in the future now while it's fresh in your mind. You take a few seconds, write it down. We're going to go to Q&A. Before we do, I do want a quote from Michael. Sorry, a quote from Mitch Jorsky and a marketing tip from Michael Gabriel. And then we can go to a Q&A session. Show of hands if we understand the instructions. Excellent. Mitch Jorsky, let's get a quote.
You know, I actually have one today, like that was in my head from the jump. Um, Technically it's a quote because I heard it from somebody, couldn't tell you who it was, but an interview of some woman dropping knowledge, and there's a lot of wisdom in it because when you're in any kind of business, or even in a career, if you are a hardcore people pleaser, you're going to struggle to have success. Like it, to an extent, is going to be a bit of almost like a liability, like a weight that you drag with you. So I know we definitely have some people pleasers in this crowd. Raise your hand if you're a people pleaser. I am. Something that I am journeying through. And um, this is, I guess, important to me because I've recently had some epiphanies where like I've made some changes because I decided to stop people pleasing at the end of the day. Like I wasn't doing things for me at all to an extent. But I heard this woman say, if you're a people pleaser, give me a list of the people that are pleased with you. And my mind just went, because that list is either very, very short or non-existent. Think about it. If you're a people pleaser, give me a list of the people that are pleased with you. You might have one or two people. And even those people aren't going to be pleased with you all the time. And that, like, for me was just like it created a paradigm shift, like such a short phrase. And I was like, wow, okay. So for my fellow people pleasers, digest that, think about that, and know that you can find a place that allows you to be a good person, serve people, but still be, go and choose yourself in terms of, pursuing the things that make you happy. And that is my quote for the day.
Give Mitch Jorsky a round of applause. He's a scaredy cat guide to real estate investing. He wrote the book. He will be speaking at the summit. He's going to be talking about how he made his business partner successful, financially free, helped his business partner, his longtime friend. He got into business together with them. He started investing together up in Massachusetts while Mitch lived in Florida. Started investing in Massachusetts, and he's going to talk about the deals he did, the deals they did together, why they chose those deals, and how he ended up, why he was so passionate about making sure his friend got financial freedom. Let's one more time give Mitch Jorsky a big round of applause. Love it. Michael Gabriel, marketing tip. Give us a marketing tip, man.
Listen, I'm about to change someone's life here. So, who needs more sales in their business?
Come on, man. We
Raise
all
your
do.
hand.
We all need more sales.
Yes, we do. But to have more sales, that means you need more leads, right?
Yes. Better leads.
All right. Better
The leads
leads.
are garbage.
That's what they all say, right? So I shared this tip or this tool with a friend about 10 years ago, and he turned this into a whole business, and he's made hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I'm gonna share with you in a second. Last week I talked about Facebook lead forms, and they're still going strong. So this month I did a test for mortgage leads. At the end of the day, I've pulled 75 leads. 10 of those turned into opportunities, and those opportunities equal about $26,000, all off of $800 ad spend. So that's a great return on investment. Now, if you need leads for your business, as everybody does, who's here been to the library?
Man, I got a
Okay.
library right here.
Okay. Do you have a library card? That's the question.
I did when I was younger, back when that was relevant.
Okay. You need to re-up your library card. Let me tell you why. Because the library has all your leads. The library has a database of all the businesses in the whole United States. And what they use it for is for research. So if you have a library card, they have a resource center called Data Axle. And Data Axle gives you information of the business name, business owner, cell phone, email, credit score, how many employees they have, how much revenue they do. It is free out there. Now, what they do is they limit you, like, so say you, and there's ways to look up things based on keywords. So if I want to go after realtors, I'll type in realtors and it says, hey, there's 50,000 realtors in Florida. I'm making numbers up at this
It's
point.
close to that number.
And yeah, yeah. So right. So you can filter by state, you can filter by city, you can filter by zip code to actually give you a list of businesses that you can go after. They let you download, I want to say it's either 50 or 150 at a time. And then you can do that basically all day long. So if you need leads, you can go to the library and you can pull a list of leads that you can actively call.
Give Michael Gabriel a round of applause. I can validate this. We were actually using this a few years ago. Actually, Gary was just thinking in his own head while he was out camping. He was like, we are going to start doing that again. Let's give, go ahead, Gary. Tell me you weren't thinking that.
No, we actually, I actually made a video last year because we were doing that on the sales team last year. We were using our library cards and getting leads that way. So yeah, it is a viable way to get, especially if you're trying to niche down on a particular, like a coach or a business coach or something like that. If you're trying to niche down and pick very specific city and a very specific business type, it's library card is great for that. Yeah, absolutely.
Give Michael
Yeah, and you can take it.
Gabriel.
I'm gonna say one last thing. You could take it one step further. Again, it comes down to time and money. If you have more time, you call them. If you have more money, you run ads. You take that list, you upload it to Facebook, and you target them. And you could say, "Listen, realtor in Florida, Tallahassee." And you
Give
kill it.
Michael Gabriel a round of applause and Gary Aker a round of applause. Show of hands if you've seen our ads on Facebook. You've seen something about the summit. You've seen something about the 52 weeks well. You've seen something about networking. That is because you have checked into one of our events and we've created a custom audience. Michael, when I say we, Michael and his team created a custom audience. And so anytime somebody checks into one of our events, we retarget and we say, hey, by the way, here's some value, here's some value, here's some value. And it is not very expensive. We don't spend a ton of money on ad spend in order to do that, but it's extremely effective. Show of hands, you've thought of 52 Weeks of Wealth for the Summit because of those ads. Yeah, we know it also leads people to go and purchasing their tickets, even though I said it here in this call. When they see the ad, they're like, oh, yeah, that's right. I got to go and do this. So the amount of times you are seen will help you move your people forward. Let's do the Q&A session. I know, Richie Decker, you had you were ready. And then, Jeremy, I see your hand up, brother. First time you wins. I'll stick around till, let's call it 11:30.
The difference between making $1,000 a week and $1,000 a day was a tip you gave me and giving out my link. And what I use it for, I used to call people randomly that day and try again on sales calls. And what I started doing, I didn't just throw my link at people. I got them excited to talk to me. And then I said, book an appointment. And that led to appointments all day. So I'm in sales calls 10 to 4, and I do some more at night. Contacts equals contracts. If you have sales calls, you will get revenue. The people you want to meet are all around you. You can meet them in public. You can meet them on Facebook, everywhere. Get them excited, talk to you first. They want to talk to you, like what Michael just did. He told that to people in public, they meet with him. He can get customers just doing that. That's awesome. So if you have something to offer, like Jeremy with the relationship coach, if you give a tip that can help a man not fight with his wife, he'll jump on call with you. Just give it out.
Give Richie Decker a big round of applause. Great share, great tip. Recession Proof Challenge starts Monday at 1. Coaches, man, I am so excited to empower each of you. I've had many of you tell me, hey, if you ever need me to teach this. So I'm very excited. We taught, I think, 260 people or 280 people came through the Recession Proof Challenge over the last 2 years. And we are looking to have thousands of entrepreneurs trained on becoming recession proof, trained on how to make the contacts with the right people, get their incomes up, make that $10,000 a month. It is so on our heart. Alchemist Nation's whole premise is financial freedom, $10,000 a month, and then eventually legacy wealth when you're ready to invest in real estate. But we know right now, most of you just need that next customer. So let's give Richie Decker a big round of applause. By the way, oh man, he spoke so eloquently in Lakeland this past week. he said something that I just rings in my head. Do hard things. He said it and it just keeps ringing in my head. I'm just like, man, you got to do the hard thing. You got to do the thing that is hard that everybody else is avoiding doing. And it is a lot of times, like I told Dorina this week, I looked at my calendar and it was every 15 minutes, there was a block of 15 minutes. I was like, what, babe, what's wrong? Something's happened. My calendar is giving me 15-minute breaks. I freaked out. I was like, I don't know what to do with that 15 minutes. What the hell am I going to do with that 15 minutes? And she said, I got you. She went in, she fixed it, made the change. And then I started texting people like, get on my calendar, get on my calendar. And I filled up my calendar. I filled up every 15-minute block. But man, I was freaking out because I used the new calendar link and it was giving me all these extra breaks and like times. I know dead space on the calendar is deadly, right? White space in the calendar, nothing's happening there. Like we're not having conversations. That's a disempowering week. So fancy you can get on more calls this week, right? Richie, I love that. Do the hard stuff. I was hard last minute texting more people. I already thought I'd lined it up. I booked myself out 2 weeks in advance, but I didn't book myself correctly for the 2 days I really wanted slammed. So I did some hard stuff. All right. I want you to embrace that message that Richie gave us the other day. Go ahead, Jeremy. Jeremy, you've been so patient. You put that hand up so long ago. Thank you, brother. As he does, somebody else comes to the room. Let's take another question while we're waiting for Jeremy to get clear. First time you wins. Karen, you're unmuted, brother. Karen Payne. Did I pronounce that right?
Jeremy's on.
Oh,
Hello?
I was unmuted.
Oh, go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to hit the mute. Anyway, number one thing for affirmations is this. Say this one first before all of the others, and it will turbo boost everything. And it is, my actions work for me no matter if I believe them or not. It gives your conscious mind permission to garble gook whatever is in your head, but your unconscious, the thing that keeps your liver living and your spleen spleening, will drive your success because you've given yourself permission to ignore the chatter of the monkey mind and go after the results that you want. So my affirmations work for me no matter if I believe them or not. Say that one first, and then you will amplify all of the rest.
Powerful share. Let's give Jeremy a round of applause. Jeremy Roadrock is a coach in Fort Lauderdale. He's now partnered up with Deborah Felder. So Fort Lauderdale is coming to the next level. Deborah's been building it up. She's been helping people out, and now bringing Jeremy in is just really elevating the experience that our local community attendees are getting, and they're starting to really figure this thing out. Like Jeremy's like, dude, no, I'm gonna help you get your financial freedom. Like let's get on a call. Like let's do this. Strategy session. I told Jeremy this week, I was like, man, 15 minutes, no more than 15 minutes. Like you got to get to that next person. Show fans if you understand the 15-minute rule. You like to explain very quickly. All right, who wants to hear it? Who wants to hear what the 15-minute rule is? Okay. Ready? Check this out. Salespeople, entrepreneurs, business owners, capital raisers. Anybody raising capital this year? $1 million or more? All right, check this out. If you are on a call with a person for more than 15 minutes, you are wasting time. That person was sold in the first 5 to 10 minutes. If they are not sold in the concept, then more time is not creating the sale or the belief. More times will create the sale. You need to change the environment. You need to come back again. 1 hour with a person or 4 15-minute sessions with a person creates a very different experience and very different result. The more time you spend with a person, the more likely you are to do a thing with that person. The more time you spend with a person, the more time you've wasted. It does not change how they feel about you. An hour with a person or 15 minutes with a person doesn't change how they feel about you. But 4 hours, separate times would change a feeling. Or you can change environment multiple times. The more times you change environment, this is the story. The more times you change environment, the more depth you have to the relationship. It's more memories locked in. Show of hands if that makes sense. So the first 15 minutes is just rapport. It's just trust. It's just, do I even need to get on it with you another time? Too many people block an hour for a conversation. Anytime somebody does, I'm like, yeah, no, we got 15 minutes. I got to jump. I'll text them in advance. I see them, their calendar says hour. I'm like, dude, I couldn't find a 15-minute slot. So I booked an hour, but I'm gone in 15 minutes. And I just want to let you know, it will be a 15-minute call. Oh, well, it takes longer than that to explain. Then you don't understand it. Text me what you got. Right? If you can't explain your concept to me in 15 minutes, you don't understand the concept. Right? You don't know it well enough. Show fan if that makes sense. If you can't explain it in 2 minutes, you don't get it. You don't understand how it works. I'm not jumping on a call with you until you can get it down to a 2 minute conversation. And then I can decide how I feel about what we just talked about. In fact, when we evaluate deals inside the mastermind, I tell all of our mastermind members, I'm like, dude, 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes to pitch us. If you can't pitch it in 5 minutes, you don't understand it. You're not qualified. All right. Here's how you get qualified. Here's how you put it together. Go put it inside Vinney's calc. It takes 5 minutes. Put it inside Vinney's calc and just show us the numbers. That's all we want to see. And if you're having a hard time pitching to investors and you're pitching for an hour, dude, they're done 15 minutes into it. 15 minutes in, they're done. They're not interested in the rest. Get on another call, right? You got to get on the third call, the fourth call. That's where the sale is. That's where they're like, okay, this person's consistent. This person keeps showing up. They show up on time. They keep contacting me. They're following up. Their engagement is there. They don't know that from one call. How are they going to know you? Like, they don't know. Anyway, my rant's over. Let's take more questions. Let's give Jeremy a round of applause for bringing that up. I love it. Billy Reuter, what can we expect at the summit, man? Trifecta. What is it? What is your take on these two principles we jammed together?
My man, I gotta say, be careful, guys. Get your fire extinguishers out because we're about to light this place up. No, man. Like honestly, it's almost like we got together before, Gualter, because what you outlined in just this one training literally is the trifecta, which I shared last year, which I'm super stoked to share this year. And the trifecta meaning 3: state of mind, systems, and schedule. And everything Gualter shared in this particular training addresses all of that. Right? State. Get rid of the word positivity. Positivity is like motivation. It's a freaking wave. It comes in and out. Therefore, is not a reliable source for production. If you're feeling positive, I love you. God bless. Reframe it from positivity to preparation. Are you prepared to do the work? Are you prepared to, overcome these challenges, obstacles? The state of mind is critical. Systems, guys, everything today was about habits. Right. So I'm going to share a quote from one of my favorite books, Atomic Habits. You don't rise to the level of your aspirations. You fall to the level of your systems. Systems and habits are interchangeable. And again, to finalize this, the third S in the trifecta is your schedule. If you don't optimize your schedule, you will always be chaotic, always be scattered, always feel behind the 8 ball. You'll never feel enough. You'll always have these wandering thoughts of what else I could be doing and never feeling like you're really accomplishing. I promise you, upgrade your state of mind, really refine your systems to make sure they're in alignment with your new vision, and optimize your schedule, and your life will take care of itself. Can't wait to see you guys at the summit.
Give Billy Roy a round of applause. Larry Steinhaus, I was on his show Thursday, Investor Schooling. I was there, and Larry has his room so well trained. He actually has a really cool experience. If you're ever in the Pennsylvania area, next to Pittsburgh, where are you at, Larry?
Oh, I mean, next to Philly.
Next to Philly. Okay. So about an hour out from Philly, west side of Philly, if I recall.
East side, closer to Trenton,
Damn,
closer to
bro.
New Jersey.
I don't know. The whole state is huge. Pennsylvania is huge, and then you got Philly
huge.
and Pittsburgh. So we were on the call, and he's got a setup with like 6 screens behind him. Looks like a huge arena, and then I think there must have been 30 people in the chairs inside the school, and then there was like another 20-something people virtual. And I got to share like how I invested in real estate, why real estate, and it was so cool to see just how much time Larry and money Larry has spent into building this facility, this school, Investor Schooling, and the resources that he gives his community. It's really cool. It was really empowering to see that. So Larry, can you share this really quickly? Like why investor schooling? Like why have you put so much effort behind educating investors?
So I'm going to say that my mission is the same as yours. You say you want to build millionaires. It happens to be that the same exact thing, but I want to improve people's lives. I want to be able to make them better financially. So when you said you build millionaires, I kind of like that. It's simpler. So that's the simple answer. It's it's just like anything else. I could sit home and watch Dr. Phil, or I could help other people change their life. And this has become me. Investor schooling is me. I don't want to ever give it up. I love it. Sometimes I struggle through it. You and I have had conversations about that. But it doesn't matter to me, because when I have a student who stands up and says they just bought their first house, that's when that's when I get paid. I get paid because I feel good about myself. I feel good that this person did what they did, and I feel good that the other students are learning the same thing. Wasn't it fun when we were talking about your summit, which is what Gualter came on to talk about, and everyone's and you were like VIP ticket or regular ticket, and what did I have the audience say?
We always buy VIP.
That's right, because they know they have to go VIP, right? They have to go VIP, and if they fly, they have to go
First class. Yo, it was so
class.
funny because Larry was like, where is this? And I was like, yeah, okay, so let me handle that objection. People are going to cry about having to get on a plane, having to book a hotel. And Larry was like, let me stop you. My room we don't have that problem. We fly first class.
That's right. And you always go VIP.
Always go VIP.
Right. And for all of you who think you can't afford first class, I'm going to tell you what you do. Go anywhere. I don't care if it's vacation anywhere. And on the way there, fly coach. It doesn't matter because you're on your way. You're going to have a really good time. On your way back, fly first class because it's just an extension of your vacation, and you'll actually see it. And then all of a sudden, you'll go, I'm never flying coach again.
Give Larry Steinhaus a round of applause. He's trained his people well. He's built a lot of millionaires, though he hasn't tracked it as well as I would like. So, Larry, you and I have to have a conversation and say, how many millionaires have you built over the past few years? Because that would be who'd like to know? Wouldn't that be a really cool metric?
I honestly would like to know too. I never thought about tracking it. I know you track yours, but I track separate successes. Like they don't have to become a millionaire to me. They have to buy their first property. Then they have to buy their next property. Then they have to make $100,000 in the stock market. To me, that's, it's steps.
All right. Then let's get that number. So
Yeah,
fans, you like those numbers. Look, entrepreneurs, right? Business owners, investors, track your client successes, right? I know how many tenants I have. I know what they pay. I know how satisfied they are with me. Those are my clients in my real estate investment business, right? In my training company, I know how many millionaires we've built. In fact, we're going to start sending out forms to find out how many we built in 2024 so that I can stop saying 31 because I want to know what the number is over the last year while we head towards the summit. And I also know, how much money we've raised inside Alchemist Nation. I know how much we raised in 2023. $10 million was raised for deals within Alchemist Nation over the last year. So let's give Dorina a round of applause for tracking all of this for us. She does the tracking. I have a spreadsheet. Oh my goodness. She sent it to me. I have a spreadsheet that tells me how many transactions our real estate agents did, what the volume of transactions was. I have how much our coaches made, like how much profit our coaches made. And this is something that to me, it tells me my mission's successful. Because if I just train people and like the only metric I have is like how many attendees showed up. Did I teach them though? I don't know. We have to go back and we have to have conversations with our customers and find out how are they doing. Hey, how many people did you work with last year? How many people have you worked with over the last 10 years? I know I've trained over 10,000 real estate agents, but that wasn't a good enough metric for me. How many went to the next level? How many people have transactions because they're doing what I taught them how to do? Show of hands if you understand, you can do a little better in your business too. Track how many people you're helping, how many people you have helped. I'm not picking on Larry Steinhaus. I am because he'll do it. Like that's the only reason I pick on him is because he's like, okay, like he's already thinking, how do I get these numbers?
That's exactly right.
I'm about to send a blast email to everybody in my database and be like, hey, how have I helped you? Show me your success. Right? This is how we change our business. This is how we change the world. We got to care about other people. And it's not hard. With our real estate investors, like when you're raising capital, who here is committed to raising capital? Show of hands. Committed to raising capital? All right, cool. Reach out to your investors. Hey, how much have you invested this year? How many deals are actually returning investment for you? How many deals are not? How much did you lose this year? Did you lose? Right? Just ask and then document it, right? Hey, this person lost. In my mind, if one of my investors lost money, I'm already looking to get their money back. Let me say that again. If one of my investors lost money this year, my mind says, how do I get them their money back? I know they didn't lose money on my deals. All my deals made money. But I'm talking to them about some other deal, and my head instantly is like, dude, let's jump on a strat session. Let's figure this out. How do we get your money back? Right? We're clearly not going to be able to get it back from the source that lost it. But what can we do outside so we can get you back to where you belong? I can't accept the failure. I can't accept the loss on your books. So let's go and get you to where you and I agree you should have been, right? Where you were before this one bad investment. or I had one guy. I had one guy this year. A lot of bad investments. It was just like, man. I told him, oh, he's on the call. All right. So I told him, I looked him right in the eyes, like, you are not allowed to invest without talking to me first. Now, I do not say this to anybody because I do not have that kind of time in my life. But this one person, I was like, bro, like you have lost too much, too many times consistently. You from now on are not allowed to invest without talking to me first. He's in my mastermind. He's a personal friend of mine. I have a good relationship with him. And like to me, that is like, I will not do this for many people, but man, one person, I'm like, bro, please. We don't lose money, right? We only make money in all of our investments. So if you got a track record, know somebody with a track record, stay away from them or train them. You don't want the mindset of losing money. So for each of you on the call, the mindset from now on is you make money in every deal you do and just do less deals. Dude, don't do deals with everybody. Just do less deals. Qualify your people. Qualify the relationship. Qualify the deal itself. Yes, for sure. Qualify the industry for sure. But I don't give a shit. A good operator will get my money back, regardless of what happens to the deal. A great operator will get my money back no matter what happens to the deal. They'll get it from different sources. They'll go and they'll work their ass off. They'll do some other deal to pay me back. I know because me and Ron have had to do that. We had deals that didn't hit the target we said we wanted to hit. We took money from another investment, our own personal investment, made sure I paid our investors. We've had those moments, right? So I know what great operators do. So fans, if you understand, we make money. Each one of you makes money. You invest people's money to make more money. That's how the game is played. And if something goes wrong, we find a way to improve it, right? It's the operator that makes the business. It's not the deal. The deal is, man, you can give me a bad deal. I'll make money off a bad deal. Because I'm creative like that, right? Larry Steinhaus, right? You bought some bad deals, but you turned them into great deals, didn't you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, everybody has bad deals. I mean, I had one year I lost $400,000 in the stock market, and it's just the way it is. The funny part is that year I actually increased my net worth 1.2 million and lost 400,000 in the stock market. So it is. I got to tell you a funny story. Though, real quick, Doctor. You did the whole money manifestation thing, and I completely forgot. I opened up my drawer in my at my desk, and I had forgotten this.
Look, Larry's got his money. He just manifested money made right now.
Yeah, it's like $5,000 too. It was the funniest thing. It was like, oh yeah, I forgot I put $5,000 in that drawer. And just as you said it, I opened the drawer and found it.
Give Larry Steinhaus a round of applause. He's manifesting money. It's just showing it up. I had that once. Has anybody found money in their laundry or their pants or their jacket or just out of nowhere? $5,000 randomly shows up. I had $2,800 that I had put in my safe that I completely spaced out because it was cash. I just kind of put it in my safe. And the other day I was going through my safe, and this money is so funny to me because it's money I made from fake money, right? Somebody asked me the other day how much I spent on this. This cost me $800 to buy all the $1 million of prop money. And I was like, but don't worry, I made $2,800 on it. He's like, how do you know? I was like, well, here's how I did it. I offered everybody to take a picture with the $1 million. I charged them $100 to do it. And so I built, manifestation pictures, and I got a bunch of people who have pictures with this $1 million. And that $2,800 I just took, I was like, I don't even know what to do with it. I don't even know how to account for this, right? I bought that prop money, so it just motivates me. It's feng shui in my house. But I brought it to the summit. And because everybody was making fun of me for spending $800 on prop money, I said, I'm going to make that money back today. I said, who wants to take a picture with the $100 million for $100? 28 people.
Money was real.
It's prop money. I mean, it's as real as
Gualter,
anybody, I guess.
I'm a little disappointed. For the last year, I thought you walk around with millions of dollars in cash. I wondered if it was a security risk and people come over your house and see it. I really thought it was real. So
give Richie Decker a round of applause. He's praying for me all year. He's like, man.
So you know what, Richard? It is real. It's real in his head. And if you have it real in your head, you'll have it too.
I love that. And that is how feng shui works, right? Feng shui, you go Google it. It's like gold coins. Like gold coins don't mean anything to me, but these dollar bills, they do mean something to me. It does mean, like, I have held hundreds of thousands of dollars in my hands. I've gone to a contractor who asked for cash only. Wonder why he did that, and handed $30,000 to a contractor, cash only deal. I think it saved me like $5,000, but later on I had to pay it in taxes because I couldn't write it off because I didn't pay it to the person because I didn't have their social security number and their 1099, which, by the way, pro tip, 1099s for every vendor who ever works for you, so you can pass the tax bill off to where it belongs. But that cash meant a lot to me. The first 100,000 that I had 100,000 in cash, and it meant a lot to me because I first started. Quick story, we got to get moving, right? It's Saturday. You got family, you got things to do. Quick story. My first 100,000 started like this. I took $200 bills. I went to the bank. I withdrew $200 bills. And then I withdrew $100 in ones. And I took the $100 in ones and I put them in between $200 bills. So I had $300 sitting there. And I did this. I did this every month for 10 months. And I had them inside my drawer, inside my dresser. And I would just open it up every day and say, I have $100,000 cash. I have $100,000 cash. Like I'm building $100,000 cash. Every time I go with one of these stacks, I visualize this is a representation of $10,000. I would look at it. I'd put it there. I'd weigh it. I'd feel it. I'd say, man, like, okay, $10,000, another $10,000 saved this month in cash, saved. And I did that for 10 months. And what was really interesting is over time, I was starting to change the $100 in the middle with actual $100 bills. And then over time, I started having I had to separate the stacks because I had actual $10,000 stacks. And then I had the padded $300 that looked like $10,000. And after 10 months of doing this, I sold a property. I sold a property in a single day and I took $150,000 home from the sale of that property. And I withdrew the remaining 50,000 I needed to make my $100,000 inside my, by the way, it was a bitch to get that 50,000 out of the bank. It was not easy. I had to go to 3 different banks to get the money, but I did it. I did it because I visualized that I had 100,000 10 months earlier. I busted my ass for 10 months to get to that point. And when I got it all together, I laid it all out in my bed. I just laid it out on my bed. And I took a picture of it and I have that in my cell phone. And then I took all the money and I brought it back to the bank. And the bank
Wait a minute.
freaked out.
Was that 10 months ago? About 9 months before your baby was born?
No, oh God, no. This was back in 2017. This was
Some people got that.
2016. Yeah.
Some people got that. I don't think you did.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Larry. So back in 2016, I did this thought experiment with Feng Shui, with manifesting. It was long before I bought the prop money. And the reason I bought the prop money, Larry, is because having $100,000 in my house scared the shit out of me. Like it terrified me so much. And it was starting to cause fear in my mind. So I went and I shifted it for this representation of what's in my bank account. And that was much easier for me. And I would just order it as I put it in my bank account, order it as I put it in my bank account. And that was allowed me to get to that next level. Because guys, don't do this past the 100,000. I do not suggest ever having more than $5,000 in your house at any given time. The bank is a very good place. I'm sure people will disagree with me, but the bank is a great place to save your money and put it and then deploy it into assets, deploy it into real estate, deploy it into assets. But anyway, fun way to end the day. Each of you have a lot of success out there. This world has more people on it than it ever had. It has 1 billion people more than the last time when I first started looking at how many people on the planet. 1 billion more buyers. They say there's a buyer born every second, right? There's a sucker born, there's a buyer born. Man, I think there's hyper buyers born every minute. I'm talking about hyper buyers, wealthy buyers, people who want to spend money in your space, people who do deals morally, ethically, legally, people who, if you improved their lives, they'd improve other people's lives. I genuinely believe that every minute that there is somebody like that born. Those are the only customers I ever want to spend time with. That's why I only take money from people I know, like, and trust. So I only do business with people who are my friends. So my thought to you, the request I ask, is that you go out and you seek out people who are already playing at a high level and you help them get to a higher level. People who are already crushing the game in their life and you help them crush it a little bit more. Get them a little more of their time back. Get them a little more of their sanity back. Help them impact more people's lives with more efficiencies. I just ask that you go out and do a little bit more for the people who are already doing the most. And I'm not saying the people who are working hard. I'm talking about the people who are building businesses, providing housing, right? Not hard workers. Right? The hard workers, that's not who I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for the people who are already creating jobs, who are already sheltering families, the real estate investors, the business owners, the people who give those people security and stability, right? Give those hard workers a place to sleep, a place to get money so that they can eat their food. Show of hands, if you understand, the people who own businesses and the real estate investors, those are the people I want you to go out and serve. Help them get more passive income. Help them increase their systems. Help them hire the right staff. Be part of their teams. All right? Help them get more money. I assure you, you'll reach your financial goals, and you'll be around people who you can ask questions to. You'll be around mentors who want to be seeing you successful as well. Man, what a wonderful principle. Show of hands, you got a lot of value out of today's wealth principle. 2, right? 2 for the price of 1. Cheers to your success. Next week is wealth principle 42. We are now caught up with the wealth principle, so we don't have to jump ahead. If you are not familiar with how to find them, you go to alchemistnation.com, go to community, the community tab right at the top, and then it'll bring you to the community.alchemistnation.com section. These are the community section with all of our free resources, all of our free courses on the left side. And you just hit this right here, the 52 Millionaire Wealth Principles. Scroll down. Wealth Principle 42 is give the impression of increase and advancement. And the book of the week next week will be You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. And if you want to get a little tip or a little above or ahead of everybody else, you can actually jump into the link and you can find out what this principle is all about. So you can be a little ahead of everybody else. Show of hands, we know how to get access to the principles. Excellent. Show of hands, you're going to increase your income. Implementing your calendar. Excellent. Be ruthless with your calendar. Guard your calendar. Guard your time. Spend your time with the right people, and you will change your life. Cheers to your success. When you have a choice, always work with the best. I'll see you in the next one.